let's open the file we did, I think, last video. We did a program that will actually take two arrays, the before and after, and adjusted. I think I have that file. It says quiz average. I think that's why I called it. And this is the one. Now, notice I don't see the comments on the top. I only see one. You can see that's line 2, line 9 is missing the rest. If you click on the asterisk here, it should open it, and it shows you what we have. This is what we did. Ask for the class size, create new array. So we did all that, but we didn't use methods here. So today, I'm going to add to that list, we're going to be using methods. We're going to redo this program by using methods. So the first thing we had to do here is create the array. So we created the array. Let's look at this one, load the array. Let's make that a method. Let me cut this one out. Let me cut it. Cut, so I don't have to retype it. So I'm going to make this section, I'm going to create a method called load the array, or load array. So to load the array, here we go. I'm going to call the method load array. And if you're going to load the array, you really need to send the array with you. So which array you want to load? You want to load the array that's before any changes. That's the one I'm going to be sending with me. Before is an array. So now I'm going to go to the bottom of my program to add the method. So I got to go way down in the bottom. Notice between these two curly brackets, after you finish with the main program. And here I'm going to put method to load array. So that's what that method is going to do. Whatever I write there, I'm going to write a program to grab that array and load it. So now let's hit enter. I'm going to push it up so you get to see it. So it's public, static, void. Now, I'm not returning anything in particular, but don't worry. Load array, that's the name of the array, or the method, I mean, I'm sorry, not the array. That's the name of the method, load array. And now this one expects an array of decimal numbers. So that's double. It's an array, so I gotta tell them that's an array, square bracket to tell them it's an array, and give it a name. The name, we'll call it, I don't know, whatever name, S, student, or B for before, whatever you want to call it. Curly bracket to begin, curly bracket to close, and now Command V, paste what we did before. Let's see what I did before. INTC. So I don't need to put this in one line. That's fine here. So I'm going to do this one. I'll put the INT here, one line. I already said this is going to load method to load the array, so there's no reason to write this is loading the array. And I have no access. Notice I'm getting a syntax error because I'm using the before. The before is defined in the main method, in the main program. This is called a local variable. We do not have access to it right in this method. What we have access to is B, the array B. So I got to put them in array B. And I also got another problem. That scanner, the input here, that's in the main program. That doesn't help me. So I need to take this one out, cut it, and put it back into this method too. If you're going to be using the scanner, and B. The problem right now Let's see if it's going to work. I don't know if there's a problem, but let's see if it's going to work. Let's save this one. Explain something. Let's see, because I cut and paste sometimes when you cut and paste. Oh, yeah, this line. So let me stop this one. I never actually read the values. Cut. Oh no, actually, we need the scanner here too. Yep, because that's the size of the array. I forgot. We did that a couple of days ago. So we need that one here. So let me go back here and do the scanner again, I guess, because I need it for the main program to get the size. I forgot that part. Scanner ID equals new scanner system.in. That's what's difficult, to go back trying to fix a program that you did a week ago or a few days ago and you can't remember the stuff we did there. So we need to get the size of it. So that's why we need that here. Notice here I got to define int because I took that int out. So for now, and here's a scanner too. And I'm reading that. Let's see if it's going to work now. Enter a class size 3. Now, once I tap in 3, it should call my method now, and my method should allow me to load the values in. Enter student ID number 1. Score for number 1, 100. Enter the score for number 2, 75. Enter the score for number 3, 33. And these are the scores. So it did what it's supposed to do. Let's see what happened. Let's just watch it quickly there. Excuse me. When we called this method, notice we told the machine we have an array called before. The size of that in the previous example was 3. An array of 3 decimal numbers I'm going to be using. It's really blank. There's nothing in it yet. But when you call this, that before is an array. Now the machine goes to this method. It creates a new array, call it B, or it uses the same index for it. And it uses the same values, which is empty. Now we go through that and we start loading this one. And once you finish with that and you go back, because this array, array B, and array before are pointing to the same spot in the memory. They really have the index for them. So you have to visualize them as the same array, back and forth. So when you go back to the main program, because we changed the value of B here, notice I'm putting numbers into B here, that means I'm changing the value of the before. The values is coming back with me. But it's really, I don't have 2 groups of arrays there. I only have 1, but they have like pointers pointing, both of them. The B is pointing to the first location and the before is pointing to the same location. Now calculate the sum. Let's do a method to calculate the sum. Maybe we'll have a method to calculate the sum and return the average, do all that in one shot. So let's see, what we're going to call this one. If you're going to return the answer, the average, I'll call it double. I'm going to define average first. Double average is equal to, I'm going to call this method find average. And again, I'm going to send the array with me, which array? The array before. Again, I'm getting a syntax error. Why? Because we don't have that method yet. So let me cut all of this, because I'll be using most of it in that method. Cut. And I'll put it in the bottom there. So this is my method. I'll put it above this because I'm running out of space in the bottom. I want you to see it. So method to find the average. So here we go. Public static. Double is going to return a number. And let's give it a name. We call it find average. And parentheses is going to expect an array from me. And the array is double. It's an array. Give it any name you want to. X. Curly bracket to open it, curly bracket to close it. So let me paste the stuff I cut from above there. So let me see if I need any stuff in it. Which stuff I don't need. Average equals 0. Sum equals 0. Now, the only difference is I can't call the before because it doesn't know what before. So I'm going to use X here. Remember, this X refers to that array, the array before now. So the machine knows how big that array is. Let's add all the scores, but an array X, not an array before. So that's equal to sum equals sum X plus C, like this. That's equal to that. I'll leave it the way it is. And we don't know what the size here. So instead of saying size, I'm going to divide that by X dot length. By the length of the array. So if the length is 5, you're dividing by 5. If the length is 3, you're dividing by 3. If the length is 7, you're dividing by 7. I'm still seeing an error here. Why? Because we are supposed to return a value that's double. So here I need to return to the main program, return AVG. And that will return the average to the main program. When you return the average, where is it going to go? Average is going to be dropped in this location. AVG will, whatever number in AVG will be dropped in this variable. So you have your average now in that location. So next step is, we did the average, so we have to adjust the score. Adjust score. Let's cut this section. Cut. And let's do a method. Load the array. We did that. Adjust the score. So I'm not really bringing anything back. So it's going to be a void here. So because I just want to create another one and adjust them. I'm going to send 2 arrays now to that one. So we'll call this what? What should we call this method? Adjust scores. Oh, scores. And this method expects 2 things from me. Expects the array before array and the after. It's going to take both of them. I guess I forgot to take this part for adjust the score. I'll fix it after. I'll take it. So here's the method. We'll put it there, method to adjust scores. And I forgot the M here. Put a little space there. And let's begin here. Public, just push it a little bit there. Public, static, void, that means I'm not returning. And we decide to call this method adjust. Adjust what? Scores. And now I'm going to be sending two arrays, the before and the after. So I got to tell them that's an array of double. The first array I'm going to call it array A, comma. The second array I'm going to call it array B. And curly bracket to begin this, and curly bracket to close it. And for some reason, usually it puts that curly bracket, so hopefully I don't have an extra curly bracket somewhere. So let's put the values here. Let's type in here, see what I cut from it. Oh, we don't have the average. So guess what? We also need to send the average. So here, comma, average. I gotta send that, which means what? I need to have another location here, comma, double. If I call it AVG, it makes my life easy because I use AVG there. Now I'm asking the machine to look and see if the average is less than 70. Begin with this. It doesn't know what size is. That's okay. We can use either array, a.length or b.length with the same length. Let array A, here we go, if it's below 70. So the first one is the before. Notice here, the first one is the before. You know what? Let me call this B for before. And let me call this A for after. That looks like better. B for the before, because the order has to match. The first one is the before, so this is the B. The second one is the after, that's the A. So here we go. If B at location I, if it's below 70, then do whatever at location A. The before here and the after is right there. That's what it should be. Add 5 points. And if the after is more than 100, then make it 100. And there's the else part, which is I forgot to put. Let me just take these. When I cut and pasted there, I forgot to take that piece with it too. So right here, here's the else. And again, it doesn't know what size is. I'll use b.length just to mix them, but it doesn't really matter. A or B, they're the same size. And you want the after to equal the before. And that's it. This method actually will calculate what swap them for us, adjust the scores for me. Load the array, we did that. Find the average, we brought it back, we did that. Now here, when you call this method, the before goes into B, the after goes into A, and the average goes into AVG. And when you return from this, when you go back there, whatever in B now here is going to go right there, and whatever in A is going to go right there. Really, you're not sending them back and forth, but you're referring to the same memory locations, just different index, the label for it. And now the last one is to display the message. Let's cut this one here. We don't need all that stuff. Edit cut. And now the last thing, so this is my whole main program right now. That's it. I'm just going to add one more line. We'll call this one what? Show result. And again, if we're going to show the result, what do we need to send? We need to send the before and the after. So the before is called what? Before. And the one after is called the after. And semicolon. Again, since I'm not putting anything back, I'm not bringing anything back, I don't need to type in double or integer or an array. I don't need to do that. So let's do a method here. Oh, method to display the two arrays. Public static void, the name of the method, which we called it show results, and I'm going to be sending two arrays. Both are double x comma, you can call them anything you want to, double array y and let's take that extra space I have here. So do the header first, print this one. And again, it doesn't know what the before is really X here. And the after is actually Y. X and Y. And that should be it. This is my main program. What's nice about this, when you work on a program in real life, that program is too big. Just like when I started working on this, I couldn't remember half the stuff we did before. And that was only a day old. Imagine if you have to look at something from before. So you break it down to pieces and you test each one. If they're working, then you move on to the next piece. So each one of these actually piece was, hopefully it's working. And my program should take me through it. So this one closes this one closes that one, this one closes way at the top. If you go up there, that's what this one closes. It closes that one there. So let's save it here. Let's run it to see if it's going to work. Enter the class size. I have 5 people or 6 people. Enter the scores. 56. Let me fill them again so I can adjust the score. 75. 97, again, that can't be more than 100. 44, 22, and 17. And it went through it, it calculated the average, it printed the old score, printed the adjusted score. Notice this 197 became 100. Everyone else got 5 points more added to their score. And that's how we use methods and arrays. What about if you want to return an array that's a method? In a method. Maybe we'll do that next.